Hello, today we are talking about the power of the pause, part 2. In my last video, I was sharing how the power of the pause can help you reclaim your space when you find yourself in conflict. Now, as a result of that video, I've had some great questions come through about what is my space and how do I stay it and how do I reclaim it with a pause. I need a little bit more insight. So I'm going to answer those questions for you today so you can also put the power of the pause to work for you. Let's first talk about my space. Before conflict reaches me, I'm in a zone, I'm in a place, I'm in a space. And that may be at my desk working on a document, that may be in the hospital with a patient. I'm going to use hospital patient scenario. Fit this into your workplace as necessary. So in the hospital, I approach my patients with care. I want to connect and I want to be curious. So I come from an island of caring, connection, curiosity. Now I can very quickly be transported to the island of defense, which is a horrible island to be on, by the way. But I can be quickly transported there when my patient complains maybe about my service, my timing, my knowledge, or a colleague makes a snide remark, or the boss says, "Hey, I need to see you." Ugh, that doesn't feel very good. I've suddenly left my space of care, connection, curiosity. And I want to get back there. So the pause, if I feel all of a sudden like my defenses are up and I need to put up barriers between me and another person, that's the first flag, ding, 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 that I've left my space. And so while I'm on this island of defense, recognizing in myself that there's a change, my body is stiff, my thought process has changed from understanding you to defending myself. I can very quickly come back to and retaliate with my professional skills, my knowledge, my education, my experience, the reasons why you should believe me, and etc., etc., etc. But that's not actually going to help me care, connect, and curious, stay on my island. So first flag, I feel different. That's what I need to put a pause in. I recognize there's something wrong with me. So one of the ways you can do that is simply just say, I'm going to step out for a second. I'll be right back. Head outside into the hallway, connect with yourself, check in with yourself and figure out what is going on. What happened in there that all of a sudden I left my island, my space, and I was on this place of defensiveness. Sometimes we breathe. Sometimes we debrief with somebody else. Sometimes we need to have someone else go in and see if they get the same response as a validation or maybe as a tool to explore options. All good options. But the key is you need to get back from defense to your island, your space. Now, another way to do a pause is to, on the fly, you're thinking, whoa, what happened here? This is not what I expected. If the reaction you just had from the other person, patient, colleague, boss, does not matter where you're working. If the reaction you just got to the input does not match, we're quickly transported to the island of defense. And I don't want to be over here. This is an ugly island. There's lots of negative emotions and energy, and it's really not productive. So that's the second flag, ding, 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 is when the reaction does not match the input. That I've left my space and I've transported to defense. So when I recognize that's happening, I can choose to suspend my feelings, to park them for a moment if need be, and come back into my space of caring, connection, curiosity. And maybe I'm going to ask some questions. Maybe I'm going to just think about, can I just think about what you said for a minute? Process it before I respond, because that first flush of feelings, whoa, rage, anger, disappointment, fear, and I feel like I need to protect it, but we don't often need to protect it. We just need to acknowledge we're having a feeling, set it aside, lean in, and ask some questions for clarity. Now, a third way you can put a pause in is to impose a pause on the other person. And that means when they start to come to you with information that is creating you to feel like you've left your space, left your island, you can just simply say to them, I'm sorry, but I'm not understanding. Can you explain to me what you mean? That may cause them to stop and go, wait, what am I trying to say? What's important to me? What is coming? Where am I coming from? And so we can put a pause into the relationship by having another person reflect on what they're bringing to that conversation. Now I'm going to give you an example of how this worked. Amazing testimony right here from the person who's teaching it to you. And there's hundreds others who have done this as well, but I'm going to share with you my experience. ICU is my background, and I was working at the Grace Hospital in Winnipeg. Shout out, peeps! And I had this patient who was being extubated that day. Before we extubated him, mother was pleasant, patient appeared pleasant. I had no real concerns or red flags that when I extubated him, all hell was going to break loose. But as we gathered the team and we pulled that tube out of his throat, I was barraged with fucking nurses, fucking doctor, fucking hospitals. I want the fuck out of here. Whoa! I was quickly transported from care, connection, curiosity to defense. And my knee-jerk reaction inside of my brain was to defend my profession, to defend my colleagues, to defend the system that I cherish and love and believe in. He didn't just affect me. My colleague walked behind me and she said, if I were you, I'd give it right back to him. In the moment she was sharing that, I was already coming back from the island of defense to care, connection, and curiosity because I recognized I was feeling defensive and that's not where I want to nurse from. 2, I recognized his reaction did not match the input. This patient was getting better, y'all. We were getting him to the point of discharge. Go home. You don't have to be in this fucking hospital. And so I leaned in. I stayed in that discomfort. I chose not to leave. I did take a step back, be honest. Took a step back, collected my thoughts as he was ranting and ranting and ranting. And when he stopped, because I had taken the pause and I came back to my island, I was able to connect with curiosity. I was able to ask some meaningful questions that allowed us to engage in a conversation that gave me such deep insights into that patient's emotional turmoil in the past and how it was affecting how he saw today. That pause was the pivotal factor in that patient's progress and in that patient changing. You're not going to believe this, guys. He went from cussing out everybody to thanking and shaking hands of people when he left. Unbelievable. His mother said to me, "What did you do to my child? I have never seen him like this." That's the power of the pause, I'm telling you. Had I reacted from the island of defense, we would have been head to head for the rest of that day. He would have left and would have been terrified to continue to seek help when he needed it. I want to hear your powerful pause stories, so share them below. Let the world see the power of the pause. Until next time, make it a great day.